Welcome guys, my name is Textureman and today I'm going to show you how to render these brake calipers from Chevrolet Corvette. So let's start. First of all, I'm going to show you how this model looks like. This is like the basic texture paint gloss gray on this 3D object, and I got in the environment tab like the basic HDRI image. When you open the KeyShot, this is the HDRI image which is already in use. So this is how it looks basic in the KeyShot. So I'm going to the Lightning tab and click on the basic because I want the faster preview when I will be changing the materials or adjust them. So I will have better feedback what's going on. So I'm just going to open my camera. I already set up my camera view. This is something what I really like, but I want to change this background to be black. So I'm going to the environment tab and I'm going to change these to the color and to the color black. And I'm going to add some basic materials so I can set up my lighting. So I'm going here to the axle to paint, and this brake caliper in most of the cases got something like the car paint. So I'm going to use something interesting, for example this one. And for this brake caliper part I'm going to use something like the metal rough material, something to like this. This will be all right, and I'm going for this part use something darker that got a little bit more contrast. So I'm going to open my metal folder and I'm going to the to the anodized rough, and I'm going to choose this rough black aluminum. No, all right, and this is something like the base setup. I'm going to the environment and I'm going to create my own environment. So create new environment. I want the highest resolution, of course, and I want this to be completely black, so no light is in the scene. Completely black HDRI image. So I need to create my first light. So click on this, add new pin light. I want this light to be rectangular. I want soft edges on this light, and I want this light to be bigger, of course, something to like this, and I want this light to be sharp on one edge and soft on the other edge, and maybe a little bit slimmer. And I'm going to change the angle of this light to 90, and I'm going to point my light to this brake caliper. So click on this and click on the brake caliper. I want to hit this edge right here. All right, this is looking good. And maybe a little bit more to the left side, something to like this, and a little down, something to like this. This is start looking really good, but this light is something like really soft, and I want this light to be brighter. This will be like the main light, so I'm going for the 20. And you can see it start looking really good right now, and it's really good for one light. So I'm going to create another light, and this light will be circular light, and it will be a little bit smaller, and brightness will be a little bit higher. And I want soft edges as well. Or maybe I'm going to make it sharp, and I'm going to click something to like this. Okay, I want light this bottom of the model. So I'm going to change these values here, and I'm going to find a good spot for this light. something to like this. This is all right. And you can see it start catching the lights from the bottom. And I'm going to duplicate this one light. And I'm also going to change the angle to -90. And I'm going to make sure the brightness is a little bit lower, something to like 5. And I'm going to click on this to make more visible this area right here. I'm going a little bit down and maybe a little bit more to the right side, and maybe a little bit more something to like this. All right, this is really nice. So we need a couple more lights to finish these objects. So I'm going again, click on the new light. This light will be smaller. And this will be something to like this. And I want this light to be somewhere right here, to catching this edge. So I'm going to move this light more to the right side, a little bit to the left. All right, a little bit more down. This is good for now. Yes, it started looking really good. Okay, and all right, this is good. And we need, maybe we need one more light. I'm just going to try to make it interesting, and I'm going to click on this so I can point my light right here. All right, maybe I leave it something to like this for now, so it will be good. And I want to make these my HDRI overall a little more brighter, so I'm going to make it 1.25, and also I'm going for the contrast 1.25. So this is good. Now you can maybe say it's a little bit more bright, but that's all right, because we are going to make the couple more changes. So I want this to be occlusion ground shadow, even if you can't see it, and this, because it's changing the reflection down there. So this is all right, and yeah, lightning part is all right. So all right, guys, now we need to create the realistic materials. So let's start it. First of all, I'm going to the scene, and I'm going to find the aluminum polished. So aluminum, basic aluminum polish, and I'm going to hit this object right here. I'm going to double click on this. I'm going for 0.1. And I want this to be the colorized, because I want to hit these with my texture, and I'm going to find my texture, brake calipers, textures, and textures right here, and I'm going for this texture, and I'm going for the UV. This is all right, and I'm going back to my properties, sample 16, that's all right. Now we need to create a little more details, and we need to create the bump map. But first of all, I'm going to down here, and I'm going to make sure this is like the more contrast. So I'm going to make it something like this. All right. Now I'm going to the material graph editor. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and we need the utilities, and we need the bump add. So that means we can combine the multiple bump maps, and I'm going to bring this to the main object, oh sorry, main material, and I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm holding the Alt key, and I'm going to bring this to the bump 1, and I'm going to unsync this. I'm going to bring this contrast back to 1, and I want to see this option, bump height, and I am going to change this bump height to lower number, something to like this, 0.25. And now I'm going to check my preview. Now it started looking really good. It looks like the carbon composite brakes. So that's good. And I want to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm going here to find the texture, and I'm going for the wait till it loads. And I'm looking for brushed radial texture right now to make it just a little bit more interesting. So let's open the brushed radial. Okay, bring this here to the slot number 2, double click on this and click on this. So we know what's going on. You can see there is different placements. So I'm going to unsync these, repeat this, and repeat this uncheck. And move, I'm going to click on the planner, move texture, part, and I think it's exactly like this. Hit OK. And what I want to do is to adjust a little bit contrast and the brightness. So 2 and 2 will be good, and this will be 0.25 as well. So now we got something like the radial bump map, but you can see it just on the few places. So it's a little more details for this overall texture. All right, this is good. Okay, I'm going to change this material. This is all right. I'm just going to bump map this number right here, and I'm going to the textures, and I'm going to create the bump map, and there will be the noisy fractal texture, and I want this texture to get the scale 0.75 centimeters, and bump height will be 0.25. So now you can see this brake caliper got something to like this rough look. And I want this to get bump add, so we can hit the multiple texture in this slot. So again, bring this right here, double click on this. This is all right. And what we need to do, we need to hit the bump texture to the slot number 2, and this will be this one texture. So this is our text, and we need to make this UV. So this is start looking promising. And we need this to bump map, bump height 0. Negative 0 or 0.3. All right, I'm going to wait for a little bit for the preview. it started looking really good, and we need to make a couple more changes, like we need some labels for this part. So let's do it. Okay, I'm going for the labels. I'm going to find the plastic label, and for example, I'm going to find these hard shiny. Now the whole berry caliper is black, so we need something like the opacity texture, and that will be something like this. Corvette, we want this to make sure it's in the UV, and its color, its inverse color. All right, this is it, and we need to change the parameters of this material right here, of this label material, to get better results. And I need to also adjust this to make it more contrast, this text. So we need to change this to completely black, and this will be 0.1, and this will be 1.5. That's all right. I'm going to duplicate this label, and to this slot I'm going to change it just for this texture, and I'm going to make this planner and the UV so it will refresh automatically. And I just need to change these label parameters right now. And it will be something to like this. This will be completely black. And this is all right. So it's looking really good. Now what we need to do is to change these materials right here to make it nicer, and I'm going to hit this roughness material, and I'm going to change this texture right here, and so I'm going to click on this, and we need the brake calipers texture. I'm going for this one, and I want the scale to be 10 centimeters, 10 centimeters, and this will be the 2, this will be 0.75, and it looks really good just with this little material. But I'm going to make also the bump map for this material, and that will be classic noisy fractal, or maybe just the noisy texture for this time to make it a little bit different. And this will have the scale of 0.5 centimeters. Bump height is really good, and you can really start to see all those details when you zoom it. You can see the brake calipers looking good, this is looking good, and also this part. So we need to create a couple more materials. So I'm going to make these materials right here, and this will be like the chrome polish it. So I'm going drag and drop this material. I'm going double click on this. I want this to be colorized and something to like this. And for this time, I'm going to use again the roughness, and this will be the roughness material. I need to change this roughness material, of course, and I'm going to make it 2 centimeters. I want to repeat and maybe bump height 0.1 for this time. And brightness is good. And maybe I'm going to open this material graph. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm holding the Alt key. I'm going to bring this to the bump map. I'm going to check it again, and I'm just going to change this value. So I'm going back to this, I'll sync this material, and I'm going to make sure this is 2, and this is the 1.25. And I'm going to bring this back to 1. So it looks like a really dirty chrome material. I'm going back here. I'm going to make it even a little bit darker. And we got like the few materials left right here. So I'm just going to bring these materials also to these parts. So link this. That's all right. And I'm going to make sure this is also on these parts, and maybe this will be different. I'm going to bring this to these parts. I'm going to make it something like aluminium, but black aluminium. So I'm going to the aluminium tab, anodize it, rough, and I'm going to bring these rough aluminium parts right there. But maybe color, maybe something like this. This is all right. And I'm going to make sure this is all right. I'm going to check my camera view. This is good. This is good. Okay, so back to my camera view. I'm going to wait for the preview. And this is all right. This is all right. Okay, I'm not happy with this chrome polish. So I'm going to bring this also to this. Okay, this is much more better. Now we need to make a couple more changes, and of course we need to check this to the product image rendering, and I'm going to bring these final adjustments right now. So new image style, photographic, and I'm just going to make sure this is in the high contrast, and this will be something like this. We just want the punch of the blue light, and this will be something like this. So guys, this is the final render, and you can see in the short time you can create a really realistic render, and you can even change this environment to something different. You can have it rendered on the white, or you can make something like this. Oops, maybe this. So it will be something really nice, but I'm going simple for the black, and I'm also going to show you the settings for the rendering. So go to the render tab. Of course we need PNG. I'm going for a little bit higher resolution, something like this. I want the clown pad, I want this option, and 256 sample, 16 rand bounces, free, and all this check, and you can render this image. Alright guys, this is the final visualization. I hope you like this tutorial as much as I do, and it was really simple to create these higher realistic results. So if you got any questions, let me know, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next one. Have a nice day and have a nice render. Bye.